Now, let's talk a bit of Formula One. We got the Qatar Grand Prix, of course, this weekend. They've got qualifying at the moment. We'll chat about that. Some bit of a spat between a couple of the drivers and a few people getting stuck into the governing body, the FIA. Piers Prior joins us now, pundit and, of course, former driver himself. Hello, Piers.
Cool, Andy. How are you doing?
Not so bad. Not so bad, thank you, Piers. Yeah, well, so this Qatar Grand Prix, well, a little backdrop. We've had this comment by Max Verstappen, which has wound up Lando Norris. He was claiming that he feels that he could have won in the McLaren, in Norris's McLaren, and Lando
it's
Norris.
Sort of unnecessary put down.
It is a bit. He said he was basically saying he thought that was the best car. So, I mean, look, you've won. I mean, talk about rub it in. Being a bad loser is one thing. Being a bad winner, that's pretty bad.
It's worse, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Max Verstappen is his confidence is always high, but I suppose that's kind of what makes him so good. But I think, to be fair, it was taken slightly out of context. A lot of the media, Lando and Max are very good mates off the circuit. I don't think there's going to be any bad blood between them, but it just comes across not the best. But to be honest, I don't think Max cares how he comes across. He's already won the championship with 2 races to go.
I mean, McLaren are the top of the standings in the Constructors' Championship. Maybe that sort of feeds into what you were saying.
Well, it might have something to do with Sergio Perez. He's had a terrible season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can see that. Yeah, Red Bull in terms of constructors are in third, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, they're just over 50 points off McLaren, who are in first, and Ferrari currently is second, 24 points off McLaren. So that's basically, I think, going to be the main talking point and thing that people are looking at in the final 2 race weekends of this season, because as we well know, Las Vegas, we saw Max Verstappen win the championship, so drivers' championship's kind of over. So therefore, it's a big battle between the 2 or 3 main constructors, and it's going to be very close. I mean, 24 points is only one or less than one race win, and don't forget that both drivers score points for their teams, so that's going to be it's going to be very tense for them, because of course that also is how a lot of the prize money gets dished out to the teams, which they can then use to develop their cars in future seasons. So they'll want that sweet cash.
Where do you think he sits then? I mean, that's always a difficult question in the sort of pantheon of great drivers. I mean, he's a 4-time world champion, which obviously must count for something.
Yeah, one of them shouldn't have counted, really. Let's be honest. It shouldn't.
Not that we're better.
Yeah,
but I mean, where do you think he's when you think of the great drivers? Is he right up there?
I think absolutely no doubt. He's kind of, I mean, I've been watching Max Verstappen. He's about the same age as me, but I was watching him when he was coming up through karting. He was effectively the best kart driver in the world when he was about 14 years old.
Did you race against him at any point? No,
I didn't, unfortunately. No, it would have been cool to have done, but he was, judging by the fact that he's a Formula One world champion, and I'm chatting on the radio now. He's obviously another level, I think. But no, he's been a generational talent pretty much since he was a teenager. He's been groomed perfectly as a driver by his father, Jos, who was in Formula One, used his experience to sort of help Max make less of the same mistakes going through. And also Max has the undoubted talent. And this year, I think, has really, really proven that it's not just his speed. You know, we saw last season, was it 19 wins out of 23 or 22, or whatever it was, a ridiculous year, but he had a car advantage that was way above everyone else, so he only had to beat one person. But this year, as he's made a point of, a lot of the time McLaren have had the fastest car and Red Bull struggled, but on his bad days he's still banging in results, banging in points. And then when you have tricky conditions like we saw in Interlagos just 2 races ago, 17th to first in what was probably the trickiest conditions we've seen in a couple of years, faultless drive. His skill is undoubted. Whether he becomes one of the all-time greats is almost slightly down to luck in terms of how good the Red Bull is in years to come, because 4 is great, but to be up there with the all-time best of Schumacher and Hamilton, you need to be getting 6-7 championships. So only time will tell, but his skill at the moment, the level that we're seeing him driving at, has got to be one of the highest levels we've ever seen.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, Lewis? He's done well to sort of maintain his concentration and commitment, because he knows he's going. It's always hard in any job, isn't it, when you know you're leaving? But they've done all right in the last race, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mercedes, been a bit up and down, haven't they? It's a bit of a strange one. Sometimes they're nowhere. Then last time out, they were pretty much dominant, and even they said they were a bit confused by that. But again, Lewis Hamilton, he's one of the oldest drivers on the grid, but he is one of the greats. You know, we were just talking about Verstappen, weren't we? And Lewis Hamilton, undoubtedly one of the greats. And when it comes down to it, he's still got the speed. I don't know. I'm a big Lewis Hamilton fan. I don't know whether he's had his best. I don't see the cutting edge maybe that we saw in 2020, 2021 when he was fighting against Max. I think those were his best years. I think potentially a little bit of motivation loss. Who knows whether next year when he joins Ferrari, he might get another surge and start to dominate teammates once again, like he's done in pretty much every year, other than kind of this last couple of years, really. I mean, no disrespect to George Russell, but Lewis Hamilton's not really been, I don't think, at his best.
So finally, I wonder how Max Verstappen's going to approach this race. Apparently, I've just been looking at sort of real-time reports from practice today, and he's recording good times. I mean, the pressure's off, isn't it? I just wonder if that makes you. It's a bit like a team that's already won the league going out to play a game. You wonder if
you've still got to concentrate and put everything into it.
I would imagine you're driving at that sort of speed you do. But you know what I mean? I just wonder what his mindset will be. I suppose it make him a better driver, or will it take the edge off?
I mean, to be honest, I think Max Verstappen, he's shown so many times that effectively pressure doesn't really get to him. He's kind of, as I said, been groomed since he was 6, 7, 8 years old to deal with pressure. This is when you need to perform, and he's shown that. So I think he loves racing. I mean, he spends a lot of his spare time on his simulator doing virtual races as well, which shows that he just loves it, and he's going to go out there and try and win these races. So that'll it'll be good to see him just completely free of that. But interestingly, normally we see the pressure wash over him and it doesn't really let anything affect him, but he was actually quite out of character emotional on the team radio when he came over the line in Las Vegas, wasn't he? It's sort of something we haven't really heard from Max, I don't think. I don't know about you guys.
No, that's true. Well, we look forward to the race. Thanks very much, Piers. All the best.
Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.
And you, Piers Prior there, talkSPORT's one of our F1 correspondents. Our thanks to him.
Lovely.
And I'm sure he'll be kept in touch with that one on Sunday.